And good evening, everybody, to this playoff edition of the Eagles Nest Coaches Show with Head Coach David Perkins and Thomas Scully, and you are looking at the prized trophy, the 2023 District Championship, all alone. The Eagles won it 2 weeks ago against Oakdale. They finished it off with a 4-0 record in district. We talked about it last week, but we now have the trophy with us.
We got proof.
That's right. You'll be able to see it, the whole show. We've got Jeffrey Owens on camera and Andrew Beeman producing the show. And to my left, as always, Head Coach David Perkins, and to his left, Defensive Coordinator Thomas Scully. We have Morgan Freeman out there in the audience.
Morgan Redmond.
Morgan Redmond.
He said Freeman.
It's a man. I did that on purpose.
Don't get him eating over there.
Yeah. So, Coach, now I'm going to say it all night
He's
long.
going to yell in a minute.
We got several coaches over there.
Coach Redmond is here. Laney Smith is here. Sabrina's here. The Davises are here. They had their reserve table. Coach Gatlin and Principal Gatlin are here tonight as well. So a good crowd. We've got some folks inside as well. And we don't have the cold weather, So if everybody was thinking we were cold, you were.
I was prepared.
If everybody was expecting cold weather, you got time to come out and join us and get a pizza or a salad and
Absolutely.
a Diet Coke. But, Coach, we had Glen Oaks come in. The final home game of the year. It was senior night, and the seniors went out in the right way, winning it.
They won it, playing a very, very athletic Glen Oaks team. We knew coming in that they were going to be a tough team to beat, but as usual, defense shined. Coach Scully had those guys ready to play, and the offense even played very well. We turned the ball over, I think, 3-4 times. I know we fumbled 3 times, and they took it away from us 3 times. So. And all on drives that we probably could have scored on. So, we got to clean that up when you get ready for the playoffs. But, Glen Oaks made the trip up here. We watched them on film during the week, and we knew just what to expect from them. Their quarterback was, he was a guy that was hard to get a hand on. It had been hard to get a flag off of him sometimes. But, we were always, or most of the time, we were in the right places and played very well and able to pull the victory out.
Yeah, shut them out in the first half, and then they scored a touchdown in the third quarter, but then shut them out after that. Final score 24-6. Like you said, the turnovers were not good to have, but I think y'all ended up with 4 turnovers on the other side. Getting the ball back, so they kind of equaled themselves out a little bit.
Yeah, they did, and we were able to put them in some situations, where I don't know if they were comfortable enough, but kudos to the defense again. And the thing I keep saying, and I told them this week, probably played one of our better games. The touchdown they had was on a kickoff return, and so defensively we did everything I asked them to do. That we were bending, we didn't break, but those guys still were fighting, and we got some turnovers because some guys gave some extra efforts in the game, and we still got guys getting penetration into the backfield on offense. We got guys that are still hitting people real hard. They're still trying to strip the ball. So, it was a great night for those guys on defense, and and then the offense just did what we knew our offense could do, and it was fun. But that's why I told the defense when it's fun is when you can just go play loose. And they got great speed. They're great coaches, a great program. They run a real classy program. Very commendable. They had a ton of coaches, but they said nothing but great things about our guys, and we did the same thing. But, man, they just have so much depth, and so you couldn't relax, even though we were up by so many points. But our guys just kept fighting and found a way to just – do what they do every weekend or every Friday, and it was fun. It really was fun.
2 weeks in a row we played very athletic teams, and we give up 12 points in 8 quarters. Like you said, that we gave up the 6 on the kickoff return. So I mean, that's impressive, man. Especially with an athletic team like that. And we got good guys. We're not real athletic, but you got to be in the right places when you play teams like that. And that's one thing our guys can do. Coach throws a lot of information at them during the week, and it's a lot. And I don't think people really realize how much information that they receive, but how much they can take in. They're really smart guys, and and then we can apply that on Friday nights, and it showed the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it seemed like John and I were talking about this in the first half, and it was almost a similar situation with Oakdale in the first half, because you had homecoming, all of that stuff taking place. Then you win. They obviously turned it around in the second half and able to make up the 2 touchdowns that Oakdale struck on, and end up winning the game, going 4-0, winning the trophy that we showed earlier to start out this one right here, and then coming into the last game, it's week 10. It's a non-district game. Won the championship, had the homecoming, but you had senior night. Everybody's walked. All the 13 seniors, walked before the game. But it was almost as if the focus wasn't there at the start of the game for the second week in a row, and they had to get themselves back into a rhythm, which they eventually were able to do.
Yeah, and Coach said it all week, and they knew what was on the line, so it was like we had something else to fight for. If we win, we get a home game, or we have a better chance. We lose, we knew we were on the road. So we went with that way, that thought process of telling them, look, yeah, it's a non-district game. Yes, it's Glen Oaks. Yes, it's senior night. But if you really want to have an opportunity to have a home game, we've got to do our job. And they did. I mean, and I think that's been our thing all year. We kind of start out slow. And then we make those adjustments. Having Coach Gatlin help me on defense helps, because we can make those adjustments. If they're driving the ball down sometimes, there's some things that we can change. Even though we've given them a lot of information earlier in the week, like Coach says, and we do. I give them a lot of stuff. But we can also make changes as soon as we come off the field. Same thing on offense. They made some changes, and then here we go. We're rolling. And so, but our guys knew on the backside that, hey, we got to figure out a way to win this game. So I think all year you've seen us start slow, because it's like a chess match for us. We're going to see what they give us. It's a give and take, and then we go.
Our defense is what we depend on a lot. So we can get into a game in an offense, and even though we may not score early, and we can try a few things on offense to kind of see what's working. We really can count on, even though we got to punt the ball, that we're going to get it back without the other team scoring. And that's going to happen most of the time, or it's happened most of the season, especially in our wins. So, we won 5 in a row, I think 6 out of 7. So, that's pretty important right there. And the defense is, with the offense, with the struggles with scoring and stuff like that, and they're young, and we get that, and we realize that, and we talk about that. We know that the defense is going to keep us in the game, and then the offense can strike any time, and we know that, and obviously the other team does too. But we keep working, and they'll just get better.
Yeah, we've got highlights from the first half coming up, and then we'll have another segment with the second half, and then we're going to be talking to Coach Redmond. Because I did that, I keep wanting to say Freeman. I do that to myself.
Get ready now. Get ready.
Coach Redmond will be with us, and
Jake Vaughn.
Yep. The quarterback.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll have him, and then Andrew has the interview tonight with Laney Smith, and I think
Sophie
Giordano is with her.
Good luck.
Yeah, so Andrew will be doing that interview and visiting with talking about softball.
Yeah.
And in fact, you got the shirt on.
I don't have a football hoodie, so that's the only one I wear.
That's all right. You got to represent.
That's okay.
In
I
support.
try not to too much during the
You get to talk football and represent softball.
Absolutely.
On the hoodie.
That's right.
Just real quick before we go to that break, we got about a minute. You talked about winning. Putting us home game for the first time in 8 years?
No,
13.
13 since we won district, but it's been about 8 years since we've had a home playoff game. Now it's been probably longer than that since we've won a home playoff game, like 10, at least 10.
Yeah.
So
we've got that. It looked like it was going to be Loyola Prep, and then they jumped a little bit. They just jumped to 17, and then Homa Christian jumps to 18, and you guys jump all the way to 15, right?
That's right.
And so now we're sitting there, our Homa Christian at 18, because 16, 17 play.
That's right.
I was kind of hoping Loyola Prep would be the team that we play, and then we end up with Homa Christian. We'll talk about them at the end, but talk about that jump. I know we mentioned it last week. 15 you thought was the lowest we could get to, and it panned out.
So basically what happened, everybody on our schedule that we thought would win did win, and then you had a couple upsets along the way. And not to spend too much time on it, basically the people we had talked to, we felt like 15 would be the lowest we could get to, and we were able to get there. We just didn't know where Homa Christian would come in at, and they won. A couple people in their district lost, or a couple people on their way lost. So that's where Homa Christian got down to 18 because they were at 21.
Okay.
So they did the same thing, and so we all slid. And then with Loyola losing, that put them, that bumped them ahead, behind us.
Right.
To Calvary, of course, and so, and then there was North Lake Christian, and then St. Helena lost, and Ascension Episcopal lost.
Right.
And that's where we ended up at 15. Ascension Episcopal lost to Franklin. And when they lost to Frank, that's how we got 15. If they win, we stay at 16 like we all thought we were going to be.
And then we have Loyola Prep.
And then we have Loyola Prep. But they lost to a 1-8 team or 1-9 team. Ascension Episcopal did. So that's how we fell. We got down to 15.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about Homa Christian, and if that was a team that you were kind of wanting. I guess it really doesn't matter, but there are certain teams that you'd think would rather match up with.
It's exciting, just to have an opportunity at this point to be in the playoffs. I mean, we've been very fortunate to be in the playoffs because the way they do the brackets now and select, and they take, but to have the opportunity to be at home, compared to where we've been the last 3 years, and considering where our last playoff win was against Ascension Episcopal in 2019, but it was on the road.
Yep.
It was on the road.
It was on the road. So the last home game and win was in 2010. We talked about it, and beat Clinton 16-15. That was the last time Menard had a home game and a win.
And won it.
And
yeah, because I think Coach Gatlin was coaching that game
against
the head
Ascension
coach
Episcopal.
against Ascension Episcopal.
That's correct.
And we were down there, and I believe that win. Then we ended up having to go back and play Lafayette Christian Academy with Sage Ryan.
Yes.
As safety back there.
Absolutely.
And I didn't get to call that game because we were out of town on our I think it was our hunting trip that we normally do. Fell on that week.
Sure.
But did get a chance to call that one. So. Hoping we get the chance and planning on calling a winning game this Friday night.
Hope so.
Anyway, we'll be back with the highlights from Week 10 when we come back. You're watching the Eagles Nest Coaches Show with David Perkins and Thomas Scully right here on 446 Sports. And we are back live at Wildwood Pizza. I want to thank them for allowing us to be here out on the front porch of Wildwood Pizza and for the opportunity to take care of the coaches and our crew with a pizza or a salad. And we hope that I think that they have enjoyed having us here with the crowds that we've been able to bring in. And Gary Perkins and his son Garrett and the whole Perkins family that are the owners of this establishment. Want to thank them for having us, and thank Michelle LaCour of Polos and Plaids. As you can see the logo on my shirt.
Nice.
Yep. So she made our uniforms for us, and she made them for every one of the teams. You got to see most of the shirts last night.
They're nice.
The pops of color that the folks
sure.
had.
There's a lot of color over there.
Yeah. Actually, it was Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah.
That if you haven't gone and watched the Coach Speak show, we actually had coaches on there to speak. For the first time, and we had Coach Ben McLaughlin, we had Coach Bachman, we had Coach Cook, we had you in the 6:20 hour, and we had Coach Bell with Pineville. He led off the show with us in the 6 o'clock hour, but it was a 2-hour special. We want to thank you and all the coaches for coming out and doing that show.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a look back at Week 10, and we're going to try to run that first highlight. We'll spin it around for you guys. And as you talked about, we had let's pull those videos up. There we go. So the first one is Gavin Hilton. Is it rolling? All right. There we go. I'm going to turn these on, and maybe that'll work. So as you can see, Gavin, you had him rolling out, and then you surprise everybody. He threw a pass the week before in Week 9, and this one he completed about a nine-yard pass, and came up just a little bit short of the first down. But tell us about this.
Well, we put Gavin in for certain situations. You can see him in there with Cooper. I think he's got Cooper in there with him.
Yep.
And Cooper's in there with him most of the time, Cooper Scott. And, we'll run a little bit of that single wing or a version of it. And that's just a little wrinkle that coach and them put in for teams, stacking the box right there. You run it, and then you try to pop a pass on them. And I want to say this is Jake making the catch, because I know he got a reception, and this is the one
that
right
was
here.
It.
But so Jake caught the ball right there, and
you put the quarterback in. Actually, he was outside of Matt Hicks, and then they both run a little down and out, and Gavin found him. When did y'all know Gavin could throw last year or just this year? Or?
Oh yeah, Gavin was the junior high quarterback. Back when he was playing junior high football, and he's the shortstop for the baseball team, so he's got a good arm. But yes, we knew he could, and we put him in there late in the year just to kind of give us a new wrinkle. And he's done very well. He's done very well. Actually, done really, really, really well running the ball. He runs the ball hard. He's not a really big guy, and so he's able to feel his way through little gaps and things like that. He does take, he takes some punishment. I have to give it to him. He's a tough kid, and we're going to keep using him.
We'll call him the Taysom Hill of the Eagles, man.
Absolutely.
Taysom set a record, for a touchdown pass and a
he does
running
a lot
pass.
of things, defensively
and threw a
also.
pass. Yeah. So the next play we come to, this is the opportunity of Gavin in there, and he's going to try to hand off, and it just doesn't connect. One of the turnovers.
That's one of the turnovers right there, just a bad handoff, or it could have been, one of them. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's on the ground, and the other team's getting the ball. And you can see right there we're driving. We're on their side of the field, and we just can't have this happen, and we got to clean that up.
This is the first drive of the game for the Eagles, and we'll move on to the next highlight. And we'll take it in. Now, this is the second drive. The Eagles defense stopped. Coach, we'll get to some of your guys. And this was a 4th and 1.
Yeah, that was a big play.
And, your decision to go for it on 4th and 1 just because it's short and you got Cooper Scott?
Absolutely. I don't want a field goal right there. We got to get a touchdown. Cooper Scott, 6'2", 215, got to get a yard or less than, and we've been running it pretty well going down the field, so why not give it to him and tell? And I told him, you got to get the first down right here. I don't care what you got to do. So, but he got it by plenty.
So the next one, I think Gavin Hilton had run it down to about the 1 or the 2, and you hike, send it straight to Cooper and untouched.
Untouched. Once again, big guy, big powerful guy on the 1 or the 2 yard line. Most of the time he's going to score.
As you can see up at the top, folks, if you're looking at the Wallace Eye Center's Associates School Board, it was nothing at that time. It gave y'all the opportunity to jump out on top, which is something that you were doing, for several weeks in a row, except for the Oakdale game.
Right, and I want you to watch the offensive line on this side, the right side, and just how they just collapse everybody down. You can see kind of the end right there, and you can see how everybody is on the ground on their team over there where they pushed them to. So what we call that, they're blocking down right there, and you can see, man, those big bodies are just pushing those guys, and great job. And, Cooper Scott finds a little gap right there, and he scoots in the end zone.
You moved Lane Evans back to center, right, in here?
We do. We'll put him at
Roy
center.
Still there on this one?
Well, let me see.
No,
we do Lane.
It was Lane. Yeah.
And we'll put Jack at the guard. He's, we like to let him pull a little bit in this particular offense right there. Now, when we go back to the standard, when Jake's in there and we got our standard offense in there, then Jack will be centering. And
Gavin didn't even have anybody to block. He was looking.
That's a good thing.
And he just turned around. So Eagles jump on top, 7-0. Ryan Hicks' kick is good, and we'll take the next one, our fifth one and final one for this segment. This is a defensive play here, Coach, and this is the Panthers going third down opportunity on their next drive, and they throw a little pass over the middle, and we're able to take them down. We're right there to take them down.
Yeah, they did a really good job of running crossing routes right behind our linebackers, and so our concern all week was we not only were we trying to spy the quarterback because of his agility and his speed, but I didn't want him to get dropped too deep to where they would catch it underneath us or get it behind us. So I said, just try to find the receivers, and that's kind of what Cooper Scott does right here. He finds him. He and
Branson Buller, I think.
Buller,
31.
yeah. We did a good job of getting our head on a swivel, is what we call it, and communicating. And we did a really good job Friday night of communicating across the field from one hash to the other, saying, hey, you got a guy crossing. And so in this instance, that's what happens. And that's a big stop right there, because if you notice, there's nobody out here to our side. If he catches it, you see Harrison coming in late, but Harris is playing a deep third coverage. So great job by our two inside linebackers. And we had moved Buller inside for the week and put T-Sam actually outside. So it kind of worked out for us this week on what we were doing.
Yeah, and I think that's is that Jaden Williams, 7 on this side?
Yes, Jaden is playing outside backer.
Receiver.
Yeah.
And obviously he's trying to pull away and get him out there so they can get the guy outside. Yeah. They had a 3rd and long. I mean, so they kept shooting themselves in the foot with bad snaps or penalties, and that one took them back, so then they had to punt. And then we'll come back with the second half drive that actually starts in the –
and you can see Cooper Scott, you having him, he was able to get back, and the guy wasn't able to get over him, and so he was able to come up and make that tackle.
And just to kind of tell everybody, after this, we drove it down and kicked the field goal. It was about a 26-yard field goal, if I remember correctly, and it split the uprights and made it 10-0 at the half. We don't have that highlight, but just wanted to point it out that Ryan Hicks, a weapon again.
Right. Also, yeah, and we're going to go to Ryan whenever we can. But just a little disappointing. I thought we should have had more points there at the halftime, but we went inside and corrected some things and came out, played a little better second half.
So we'll come back. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these messages with 5 more highlights from the second half.
In our lives. When it comes to protecting what matters most, trust those who care about your family as much as you do. I'm Jason Hawk, your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. I'm here to help you protect what you hold dear. Whether auto, home, or life, have peace of mind knowing that your family is covered today, tomorrow, and for years to come. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect what matters most.
right, we come back. Let's see, where's number 5? See if the highlights will run. Are we back? All right. Turn my headset up for me because I can't hear. I'm deaf from these headsets. So we're back. It's 10-6, and I'm not sure if we got.
Cooper scores on that one.
Let's see. Eagles pick up the first down. Where are we? 5. We're at 6. So we didn't show the touchdown, but this is Cooper just taking the handoff and finishing off the drive. As you can see, he just had a good night.
He did both sides of the ball. We're gonna give him. We're going to give him the ball between 5 and 10 times a game on offense just to see what he can do. But obviously around the goal line, being the big body that he is, we're going to give him the ball there. And you can see that the line, once again, doing a great job right there, making a hole for him. You can see the guys, they're trying to take out our knees. And Cooper finds a little lane right there, and he's able to score.
We've seen this wild eagle, we call it just because of the mascot, right? Mm-hmm. But to either Jake or to Gavin, and it seems to be your go-to offense now. So just kind of mixing in Jake in there every once in a while.
Absolutely, and Jake's a good runner too, and he's a big boy too, and he's got some speed. So we'll mix in, Gavin and Cooper, and then we'll also bring in Jake and Aiden Moran, and that's what 2 great guys to go to. We got 4 guys who can run the ball. That's one of the reasons why we don't have one running back with a whole lot of yardage, because we've got 4 guys, and then if you want to count Carter Marcantel in there early in the season, you got 5 guys who have shared. Completely shared the ball almost equally. So they all got 300 yards.
Yeah, well, and it's big too that they've all that they all have bought in, and nobody's going, man, I should have the rock.
Right. And, obviously, 12, Gavin, and 33, Cooper, both are vital pieces on defense. And Jake and Aiden, they're primarily just play offense, so we got to take that into consideration too. So, and we want, Cooper and 12, Gavin, to be able to play late in the games. So we got to kind of monitor that because they're playing defense.
Right. So let's pop to the next highlight here. And Coach Scully, this one's yours. Nice job here. Drake Aldridge always seems to be, in the right spot and creates pressure, and the mistake happens, and Gavin's right there.
Yeah, and what's crazy, they were real formation identifying. We could identify their formations and their plays based off of how they lined up. So when 10 got at tight end, the only thing that they ran was this pass route to him. So I was trying to tell Gavin before the play actually started, look for 10 because Gavin's playing on the free. And Drake does a good job of forcing him to throw it early. And then, of course, Gavin does what exactly. And being where Gavin can hear me because my voice carries, he was able to get right there. And just a great job of him. And he identified, he recognizes those things as well. But it's exciting when, we watch this as part of our scout film, and then they put it into play. And so that tells me a couple things. One, they are listening, and 2, they are watching a little bit of film, because Drake does a good job of not getting beat on that naked bootleg right there is what we call it. So great job right there.
So as we watch this, I'm trying to figure out, is that Cooper Scott that's sliding in? Right there at the end.
No, that's actually
Matthew Hicks.
That's
17.
Matthew Hicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the way that went down, it's almost as if Gavin called him off, like an outfielder and a shortstop. You see him just cut it off, and then Gavin's got the ball.
Well, I think Matthew just made a great play and didn't try to catch it because he knew Gavin was there. That's the way I took it anyway. But also what I like to say is that Coach, you can tell Coach watches a whole bunch of film, because when the other team comes out in formations and then they may switch the formation, or they may go in motion, or whatever it may be, Coach is over here on the sideline and he's calling out the play to them. So and he's most of the time he's right. So you hear that a lot on the sidelines, or he's telling one of our players or two of our players or three of our players exactly where to get and where they should be or where they should be lined up, and obviously the success is there.
So, Coach, we'll look at the next one, the next play. This is the Eagles grabbing a fumble. This was probably one of the big plays.
It was
a big play in the game here.
It was, and this is
they're driving for the touchdown.
Yeah, and this is the thing, and this is where you can't coach this stuff. You can talk to them, you can tell them, hey guys, we got to make this stop, we got to do this stuff. But when I talk about two guys, I talk about Asher Davis and I talk about Ben Good. Those two guys have a motor that never stop. And what I mean by that is Asher gets in there, he gets across the center's face, knowing what they're going to do. He knew if the running back was away from him, he knew exactly which gap to shoot because we had previously talked about it, and he knew what the guy was going to do. He had one job, and his job was to get the penetration, don't crawl, get in the backfield, and hit that guy as quick as you can. And the guy wasn't ready for it, and that's what happens. So not only is he hitting him while the guy's blocking him, but he makes a big-time play. And then Ben Good is sitting right there just like Ben always is. And those two guys being juniors, I mean, look, the future's so bright for them, but exciting to see that because when you look at those two holding their own, and then you got Drake and Dusain on the other side when we have all four of them in the game, I mean, it makes a lot of fun. It makes my job a lot easier, I can tell you.
You can hear the excitement in your voice just going back over
this.
This ended up being a good play.
Well, and I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly where it was, but this was.
We're in the red zone.
It's 17-6. If they score here, then it's 17-12.
That's right. It's a whole different ballgame.
And my only concern all night was they were always one play away from being back in the game. So for us to make this play right here, that was huge. And look, they had drove the ball all the way down the field. So for them to drive the ball all the way down the field and us to make that stop, bend, don't break, that's all we can ask for.
That was a huge momentum stop. For sure.
Well, it's a big momentum stop because right now they're building momentum and they're not down much, So they're building and they're fixing to score in their mind. So whenever you get that big turnover right there, man, you're talking about a big momentum switch. You look at their guys walking off the field right there and look at our guys, So that's the play. And we've talked about this. That's probably the play of the game right there.
Yeah. Well, y'all carried it in. I think that was our Southern Air cool play of the game. If I'm not mistaken. So then Menard's offense just took it from there, and we'll go to the next highlight. And this is a nice run by Gavin Hilton. And this really was about a 20-yard run that got it down to about the 20-yard line, but a big first down.
And a nice play by Gavin. We got the two guys we need in there in the fourth quarter, and Cooper leading up in there. And you can see that Gavin is just running into daylight. He's obviously we don't want him to take. And we've talked about this. He takes a whole lot of punishment right there, but right there he was able to get down and not get tackled real hard. And then you'll see here a little. Well, I don't know if we're going to show it, but Cooper Scott's going to score the touchdown here in a little while.
Yep. In fact, we just cut right to it as we make it down. We're in the red zone now, and we'll go to the last highlight that we have. And this is Cooper finishing it off. He finds that opening. Boom. Nobody was going to get him. And he just outraces him to the pylon.
Absolutely.
And, I'll say this, and this is what I love for our offense right here. We broke their back, and then if you'll look at how they reacted to it, they didn't really want to tackle Cooper. And they knew if we kept pounding, and we're just pounding them, like our offensive line is pounding them. And that's kind of what we preach all the time. Coach Redmond and them and Coach Julio, they talk about just be physical like our defense is. Our offense was physical in the second half. And that right there, that guy could have caught him because he's way faster than Cooper. He didn't want none.
Well,
and you could tell they had shut it down.
He could see Coop looking at him.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper was ready to take him on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can see some of these blocks right here. And I believe, I want to say the line is really blocking well, but I think Gavin Hilton is the one that gets up in here and blocks this guy right there. And he might have held him a little bit, but he gets him out of the way. But whatever it takes,
Well, you see Dusain 78 right here, just pile drive. And then look at Matt Hicks. I mean, Matt's turned out. I mean, he's a dogging for you.
Yeah, we've been lucky to have him come out. He didn't start the season with us. We got him to come out because we didn't have a long snapper. came out for that, and and we knew he was athletic and he could do a lot of things. So we just kind of gradually have just put him into different things, and you'll see him again this week, and you're gonna see him a lot next year.
I'm figuring Homa Christian's not watching this. They probably don't know that we do a coach's show on Wednesday night. Matt Hicks, I know toward the very last play or so ended up having his wrist hurt. Is he good to go this week?
He's good to go.
Okay, that's good news. I worried about him.
Everything was negative.
They were taking him to get X-rays.
And he did, and everything was negative. So, and he's been practicing this week, and he's good to go.
All right, well, that ends our highlights, and we're going to get ready to take a commercial break. But as we come out to camera, behind me, you'll be able to see one of my best friends, Robin Whaley, who is in town tonight and came by to see the show. So welcome. He is a Menardian, Menard graduate. He was a couple of years behind me, and his two brothers are Menard graduates as well, the Whaley clan, Brian and John Randall and Robin. So
I knew Brian real well.
Keep them in your prayers. Mrs. Whaley, Diane Whaley, passed this week, and we're laying her to rest tomorrow. They've been a great family in my life. She was like a second mom, so just keep the whole family in your prayers.
Absolutely will.
And if everybody out there will do the same and lift them up, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
So we got more of the Eagles Nest Coaches Show coming your way right after these messages. You're watching it live on 446 Sports. And welcome back, everybody, to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show, live at Wildwood Pizza. And thank the crowd for being here. We've got with us now quarterback and wide receiver, number 3, Jake Vaughn, and Coach Morgan Redmond.
Yep,
I swear Freeman was right there on the tip of my tongue. I made that mistake.
And Dufresne.
That's right.
Yeah.
So and Coach Morgan is the offensive line coach, and calling plays, with Julio.
Me and Julio take care of it.
You kind of seeing everything up there and kind of giving them a feel. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
But Jake, let's talk a little bit about your season so far. Congratulations, by the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Helping to lead this team to an undefeated district championship, 7-3 overall, and a home game coming up.
Yes, sir. That's really exciting for us. We haven't had a home game in a while, so for first playoff game, so pretty excited for that one.
Well, and just kind of let everybody know, Jake is just a sophomore, and leading the team. Talk a little bit about that. As a quarterback, that's usually the leader of the team, leader of the offense, and as a sophomore, what was that like, with 13 seniors and other upperclassmen and all that, trying to earn your way in, into that leadership role? Was it difficult?
Well, all I know is if you're nice to the guys, and our offensive line is a lot of seniors, older guys, and I just know if I treated them right, they'll treat me right. So that's basically how I did it.
So, and obviously they've accepted that.
Yes, sir.
At times we saw last year when you came in, the team seemed to pick it up. There was a spark there.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you came in. Has your dad have to buy steaks, steak dinners, or cook
no, sir,
cook
not
for
yet.
the line?
He said he's willing to, but I don't know.
Cooper Brown said he was waiting on his gator.
Yeah. Cooper Brown, I said.
He's got to
He
go.
said if it's good enough for Zeke and Dak, then they can. Years back.
Coop's got to go kill it first.
I know,
Yeah.
right.
He's a proud American.
Yeah, exactly.
Proud American.
He is a proud American. That is true.
So tell us a little bit about how you handle the situation of going from quarterback out and lining up, in a slot or, on the outside and moving more into a receiver role. In fact, you caught a pass last week, last Friday from Gavin.
Yes, sir. Well, at receiver, it really didn't take that much for me. All I did was just have to block the guy in front of me, and on that one play, I just ran out for a pass and caught it.
So, is that something that you like, being able to switch it up?
Oh, yeah. I think it's awesome being able to play both positions and just, being able to spread the field at different places.
So, next thing you know, you're going to be covering on punts and kickoffs.
Well, and it's really helpful from an offensive coach standpoint to have a quarterback who's not selfish, right? That is willing to say, Coach, I'll go wherever I need to go. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'm not here just to be quarterback. I'm here to be a productive member of the team. Mm-hmm. And so when we came to him and said, hey, look, we're going to try some different stuff. We're going to put some guys in the backfield. And he was like, well, do you need me to go to the sideline? And we were like, well, really, we'd like you to go out wide. And he was like, great. Just tell me what to do. And having that versatility
that
really opens up the offense.
Well for the other players on offense to look and see, that there's not any argument or you're not pouting, hanging his head.
Well, and as much as we've in the last couple games that we've swapped up our offense mid-drive, right? The ability to have him still on the field and then swap right back into our regular offense out of the Wild Eagle, as you called it, to kind of swap back into our regular offense with Jake in the backfield and then putting Gavin back out wide and be able to go back and forth from play to play to doing that has given us a different dimension. It's kind of given us an opportunity to keep the defense off balance, to keep our guys fresh and kind of doing different things. And that's been a huge added bonus. And Jake's really stepped up in that way. And that was a huge kind of confirmation for me and Coach Ortiz that this is where we need to be going with Jake.
Yeah. Well, and think about it when you said putting him out there in the slot or on the outside. Not only do they have to look at him, but they got to look at him as a quarterback too.
Right.
Is there going to be a play where he swings around or maybe steps back, is blocked on and the pass goes out to him, and then he's looking to throw downfield, maybe across the field or over the middle or something.
Exactly.
And yet he's not doing that. The only thing you put on pixels so far is him blocking and then catching a pass. So now it's like, whoa, we got to prepare for all of this.
Exactly.
Yes,
and that's the great part about it is that, and we have all the different motions we can run. We can bring guys back into the backfield. We can send them out from the backfield.
You have a toss sweep in there for him?
I don't know about all
The
that.
jet sweep?
Yeah, I don't know about that. They
Pour on the Jets.
Yeah, the
Shoot, I
Jets.
wish.
He put on the props. But for the most part, that's, like I said, it really is something that, as a coach, when you have a kid that's willing to do that and say, I'll do whatever it takes to win. We told him, he was like, Coach, do you need me to go? I'll go to tight end if you need me to. He doesn't care. He wants to be on the field. He wants to be contributing to the team. He wants to be a part of the successes, but he also wants to be a part of the failures. And he wants to be there for the team. And he wants to make sure that if we don't succeed, that he's there and tells them, hey, we're going to get it next time. And that when we have success, that he's the first guy down there to celebrate. And that's a huge thing as a coach, to be able to have a quarterback that's willing to do that, and not say, well, I'm just the quarterback and this is my job. And at a 2A school like this, and trying to turn it off, that's a big thing.
So and we'll get back to you in a second.
Yes, sir.
But, Coach Redmond, you mentioned Coach Ortiz.
Yeah.
And the two of you working together
Yeah.
and trying to gel. But talk a little bit about what that relationship has been and what Coach Ortiz has meant to this team.
Well, I mean, when we kind of
Relax.
we're putting together the coaching staff, and Coach Perkins got the job, and we're kind of putting together, and they come to me, and I'd been out of football for 4 years, and Ortiz, I had known Ortiz, and he had kind of had a couple years off, and I kind of was talking to my wife about it and said, these are guys that I know I would coach with, and just kind of knowing him from just knowing him around the school. And getting into this season, it has been a process of kind of learning each other. But the great thing about me and Ortiz is that we're kind of the yin and yang of I'm the big exuberant guy. He's kind of the stoic, kind of keep it together. We play good cop, bad cop at practice, where we show up at practice within the first 10 minutes, we figure out which one of us is going to be mad today. All right, and if you're going to be the mad guy, I'll be the keep everybody lively guy. And it's been a really good relationship that we've been able to develop through this season. We work together very well. We communicate well. We kind of think a lot of the same ways. We're both really creative. And he does a great job calling the plays. When I went up to the box, I did that about halfway through the year. I think actually it was St. Mary's, or not St. Mary's. After the St. Mary's game, I went up to the box.
Okay.
And I've always been an on-the-field guy, but we looked at it and said, we really need somebody up top that understands what we're trying to do. And I said, well, I'll volunteer. I'll go up top. I'd never really done that, but getting up there, we tested out in a JV game, which was an interesting experience.
Buckeye.
Buckeye. I got yelled at for – it doesn't matter. But that's a whole different story. But we tried it out at Sacred Heart, and it's really clicked. I'm able to see things from up top. He likes being on the field. It's hard as the offensive line coach to not be down there with the guys.
Yeah.
To not – because I'm a very passionate coach. If you
saw that at the Rose Pine game.
Yeah, if you watched the Rose Pine game, you probably got a
probably
taste
heard
of,
it.
Yeah, you probably heard. I love these kids so much, and Ortiz does too, and we care so much, and we just get so fired up. But being up top has given us the opportunity where I can say, hey, this is what we see, this is what we're getting, and Ortiz does such a good job throughout the week of putting together the game plan. By the time we get to, Friday night, we have a list of about 10 plays that we go, these are the 10 plays we think are going to work. And by halftime, there's 4. I mean, most games it goes, hey, we've got 4 plays. We're going to go 2 this way and 2 that way, and they're not going to stop. And we usually narrow it down by then between the two of us working together. And then he kind of does he's the magic man of putting it all together and calling the plays and communicating. And it's been a really awesome year to be able to experience that. It's
been a great year.
Oh, it's been a great year.
7-3.
I mean, the ability of what we had to kind of take over offensively, there were some gaps. I mean, there were some things that we had to address in all aspects of the offensive side of the ball. That we sat together, we would get together early in the week, early in the season, and just say, hey, what are we good at? What are we bad at? And slowly through the year, that list got
smaller.
What are we good at got bigger, and the what are we bad at got smaller. And the kids really absorbed it and bought in, and that goes in.
And speaking of, last question, for you, Jake, you talked about the line, and earning their trust. Talk about what those guys are doing, out there in front of you, to protect you.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard
the
to,
holes.
Yeah, I mean, they basically they gap down, they get their guy, they see who's coming. If they see a blitz, me or one of the linemen will just call it out. They'll get their guys, and they do a great job protecting me.
A lot of communication.
Yeah, lots of communication. Yes, sir. There's a lot of calls, but that's with him. I don't really know most of the calls, but they'll call it out, and they'll do a great job.
That's good. Well, look, thanks for joining us, Jake Vaughn. Good luck Friday, first home game in a long time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Coach Redmond, good luck too. We'll see
Absolutely.
you up in the press box.
Absolutely,
We got
we'll be up
more
there.
of the Coaches Show right here live on 446 Sports. Back with the softball interview right after this.
We are back at the Eagles Nest Coaches Show, and I'm with I'm with a softball coach and a softball player. I'm with Coach Smith and Sophie. And introduce yourself, Sophie. What position do you play, and what grade are you in?
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a junior, and I play third.
All right, and Coach Smith, introduce yourself. How did you get into coaching?
I played softball my whole life, and I kind of always knew that I wanted to give back to the game, so I got into coaching right out of high school, and then actually got a call from Coach Scully almost 2.5 years ago, so I ended up at Menard.
Wow, so you've only been coaching for 2 years?
No, I've been coaching for about 6, but I've been at Menard for 2.
Okay. And Sophie, what inspired you to play softball at Menard specifically?
All my friends, I think the friendships I have on the field, and that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So friendships?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm just going to ask you, what's your favorite thing about softball?
Again, the friendships I have and the bond with the coaches, I think. Me and Coach Yelly have became really close over the 4 years I've played here, so, yeah.
Okay, and how long have you been playing softball for Menard?
Since my 8th grade year.
8th grade?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll ask you this, Coach Smith. Talk about last season. Was it a good season, or was it kind of like a learning season or something like that?
Last season, we actually did very well. We did more than we ever thought we were going to. We never doubted the girls, but we had 5 junior high on the field. So we were really asking a lot of them. But our younger girls stepped up, and they were a big part of why we were so successful.
Did you make it far to playoffs or something?
We made it to the quarterfinal game, and unfortunately got beat by Calvary, but they were a very good ball squad.
Okay, and Sophie, talk a little bit about last season. How'd you feel making it to the quarterfinals?
I thought we could have went further, but I guess things didn't turn out in our favor. Because we do have younger girls, and they're trying to learn, but, yeah.
All right, and I know that this is pretty early. The season, starts in spring?
January.
January, okay. And are you guys practicing right now?
We are, during our athletic hour. We are. We have a bunch of our team playing basketball right now, so.
Okay, and Sophie, I'm going to ask you, do you stay prepared during the summer? Do you practice during the summer, or do you?
I do. I play travel ball this summer and always going somewhere and playing.
All right, and I'm going to ask you this, Coach Smith. How do you feel about going into the season? Do you feel like you're going to go back to the quarterfinals this season?
We have very big expectations for this season. We have a lot of our starting 9 coming back. We lost 2 last year, but we're looking to fill those spots. We expect a lot out of these girls this year, and they started working to be on to be the last team playing on that championship Saturday as soon as quarterfinals were done.
All right, and Sophie, I'll ask you the same question. How do you feel going into this season?
I'm ready. I think we can make it further this year. I think some of the girls last year, they know how it is now, so I think they're going to be ready this year.
All right, and forgot, you mentioned you were a junior?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so, I guess I'll ask you this. Are you planning on continuing, of course, after high school, continuing softball?
I'm actually not. I just decided that I'm not going to.
Okay. Do you have any plans of where to go if you want to go to college?
I'm going to go, but I'm not sure where yet.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have right now for you guys. But, of course, I wish you guys a really good season. I hope you guys make it far. That'd be really nice.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you for coming out and
Thanks
being
for having
interviewed.
us.
Of course. And we'll be back with the closing coaches after this break, talking about this next playoff game. It starts Friday. So
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles, of course. But we'll be back after these messages.
This month, as we gather with the ones we love, let's take a moment to give thanks for the blessings in our lives. When it comes to protecting what matters most, trust those who care about your family as much as you do. I'm Jason Hawk, your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. I'm here to help you protect what you hold dear. Whether auto, home, or life, have peace of mind knowing that your family is covered today, tomorrow, and for years to come. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect what matters most.
And we're back live. Whoa, there we go. You can hear that now.
Hey,
There you go.
Pot that down. I turned it up a little too loud, baby. But we are back at Wildwood Pizza, wrapping things up for this hour of the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. It goes by fast.
It does.
Great job for the Sophie and Laney for the softball.
they did good.
They sure did.
I didn't hear them, but I heard they did good.
Interview segments, everybody did really well.
Sophie, did you do good?
Even you guys. You guys.
Well, all I heard was Redmond.
He was excited.
I love that dude.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a trip.
So we'll wrap it up. We got to talk a little bit about Houma Christian and what you guys are expecting. I looked at their roster, and from what I could remember, I didn't see anybody over like 185 pounds. You
must have been looking at the wrong roster. They're big. They have some size on the offensive line. They got a couple guys. Their tackles are probably 250 plus, probably 265. I would say to 290.
Okay.
6'3", 6'4" kind of guys. All the receivers are a little over 6 foot. When people ask me who do they resemble or who do they they're a version of St. Mary's, but their line may not be as good as St. Mary's. They've got a big running back. Quarterback's pretty good. He's not what we faced in St. Mary's quarterback. Receivers are really good. They've got a number 13 who is probably be the fastest guy on the field Friday night. And they've got a number 9 that can go catch it. And they love to throw the ball. They'll throw the ball about 85% of the time.
And they go deep a lot, right?
And they go deep, yeah. They'll run verts. They'll try to get you in some mismatches. So we've worked really, really hard all week. Fortunately, we've faced the St. Mary's. We've faced the OCs. We've faced the St. Fred's who put us in those situations. And so, again, Coach Gallen and I talking over the weekend and talking earlier in the week and just trying to find what fits us best. And that's what we always do, and people don't understand that. We always try to put in what's going to work best for our guys. I don't try to ever give them anything that I don't think they can do, so they can play comfortably and they can play fast, and we like to play fast, of course. So I think it's going to be exciting. They have, like I said, they're offensive. They've been averaging over 50 points a game the last 6 games, and they're 7-3. They lost to Riverside. They lost to South Plaquemine, and they lost to Covenant Christian, who's a big rivalry with them in week 3. So they finished second in their district. First-year coach Celestine from Terrebonne. He was originally an OC at Terrebonne. So this is first year. Look a lot like us. Their numbers aren't real big, but they look good on offense. Defensively, not real sure because that's what I've been just focused on offense.
So before you start, David, did you talk to John Wolf today?
Did not.
Okay, because I'm telling you, John, great job.
Yeah.
John called me and he said, man, I've seen some film on Houma Christian, and almost word for word, told me exactly what you just said as far as, what to expect, and even used St. Mary's as the example. And he said they look a lot like St. Mary's, but maybe not as good or disciplined. They play disciplined football, but our line should be able to attack their line.
Well, and their biggest thing, too, though, is they play a lot of guys both ways as well, just like St. Mary's did. So when our advantage would be to physically put pressure on them all night, and I think that's going to be our advantage.
Yeah, they got
on the offensive side.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys going both ways, and if we can pound them like we want to pound them, like we've been doing the last couple of weeks, we think that especially when it gets to the third and the fourth quarter, that I think that it's going to wear on them a little bit. We've watched them on film in a bunch of those films, and it kind of looks that way. They get wore down at the end because they like to pass, like Coach said, a whole lot. So they're running routes. The guys are pass blocking a lot, and so it's going to be a good night. Like Coach said, they kind of look like we do, kind of mirror us a little bit. Of course, we like to run the ball, but as far as numbers go, they kind of look like we do, and kind of got the same kind of skill guys that we have. So should be a good night. But I think if we play our game and play the way we can play, we should come out with a W.
And as always, I mean, it goes without saying, but hang on to the football. Keep possession of it. And wear them down.
Yeah, those things you got to do in the playoffs. Penalties
keep
and
the
turnovers.
Penalties limited. Yeah,
you got to limit those. When you get into the red zone, man, you got to score touchdowns, and that's what we're going to try to do. Obviously, we got a good field goal kicker, and we'll use them when we got to use them. But we're going to try to score 6 points.
And they have to drive all the way here. On a bus, and we get the home game.
Yep, and they've got to come in front of our fans. How exciting! I mean, if you can't get excited right now, like. I really, this is probably one of the first weeks in a while that we've had a really good focused practice, but relaxed, but focused, but, the support we need from our fans. I mean, again, we were talking about it today. We were together today, and we were talking about, 2010 was the last home game. You can't get those games. People just assume that you're going to be in the playoffs and you're going to have a home game every year. But think about it. That's 13 years since Menard's had a home game, playoff game. And that's what's crazy. Like, how do you –
And longer than that since they won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, in a division that we play in, everybody looks at Division III. Division III is probably one of the toughest divisions there is in LHSAA football. And so it's hard to get a home game.
Yeah.
I mean, let me give you a little example right here. So the number 2 seed is Calvary, right? Okay. Well, Calvary, the number 2 seed, beat the number 2 seed in the Division I, who is Captain Tree, and they beat them like 60-20. Okay. So the Division III team beat the Division I team that bad in the regular season. gives you just a little bit of an idea of how good Division III is. And not just 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. I'm talking like 1 through 12 or 1 through 16.
Yeah.
You know, those are good teams. And so you got to be good to get a home game.
And a win Friday night, the winner will go to Calvary. And play.
That's the
and
prize.
Play that.
But
that's what we want to do.
You want to go play the best.
That gives you another week to prepare the younger guys and everything else. And who knows? You got to play it on the field, right?
And you look at the 3 that we lost to, they're 7, 8, and 9 in Division 4. That's what they finished in the seeding. So 7, 8, 9 is who
all
we
with
lost
buys.
to. And they all have buys. So when you look back at what we've been able to, and everybody goes, well, yeah, but you didn't have this. But, yeah, but these are the guys we faced early on in the season. That's why we've been able to have this run, because we got beat up on for 5 weeks before we got into district. So, you know, and we're able to go 2 and 3. So it's been, you know, it's been building.
Preparation.
And so, yeah, and it's preparation. And, you know, it's just like anything else. So we're in the right place right now.
And listen to this crowd, Andrew.
They hamped
get
up.
That shot of the crowd. Want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Everybody be at Menard at 7 o'clock. And for all you who are out of town, or some of our grandparents that can't make it out, tune in at 6:45 for the pregame, and then kick off at 7 p.m. Friday night at the Eagles Nest. For head coach Thomas Scully, for Jeffrey Owens, for Andrew Beeman,
Head coach David Perkins.
I'm Tom Boucher, and head coach David Perkins.
It's all good.
You get the final word. I was coming to you.
Absolutely. Go Eagles.
God bless. Have a great night.
Thank y'all.